The Numbers Game with Gill Alexander on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a Numbers Game where sports betting analytics live. Gill Alexander, Jeff Parlay here as well, producer number 5 and 8. Brady Cannon joining us on a Wednesday. As always, we will get your AT&T Byron Nelson and PGA Championship bets here momentarily. But for those who missed it a few weeks back, not a few weeks back, this is right after the NFL draft.
Yeah, exactly.
So James...
No, right before the NFL draft.
Right before the NFL draft, pardon me. And James Salinas and you were doing Bet Center on the weekend, and you did not plan on asking him this question.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah, it just came up organically. James had actually texted me about it earlier in the week. But you just happened to ask him a question about his draft experience, and he told this story, which went viral, hundreds of thousands of views, where James was talking about his experience trying to bet NFL draft props at a barstool shop in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll correct me if I'm wrong with the description, then I can let you chime in here. But he basically had two bets that he wanted to make. He described the person behind the window as or across the counter as chesty or whatever, sort of, hey, we'll take any bet
whatever
you want,
got.
whatever bet you want, right? So James was like, yeah, I want this. I want 3 dimes on this, 1 dime on this. They either printed the ticket or didn't.
They did print the ticket, but they didn't hand it to him.
But didn't hand it to him.
Took his ID, went back, checked it out a little bit, came back and said, we're going to limit your bets, which I don't think really any of us have much of a problem with. Now, the limit was pretty exaggerated, but that's really not the point. But then after the limit, and we're going to change the price drastically. That's where the foul occurs.
At which point James was like, "Thanks so much. Give me back my money.
See you
I'm
later."
out of here."
And not see you later. Never see you again.
And James Salinas, let me just say this, and you will vouch, I'm sure, might be the nicest, most above board, just straight-laced dude there is.
Absolutely. I love James.
Yeah.
And we share super contest victories, so we're kind of in that fraternity. And really ever since that, coming together of he and I, we've been friends. And no, James is a great guy, and I love working with him.
So Barstool's founder, Dave Portnoy, reacted to this yesterday. And would you like to describe what their reaction was?
Well, you know what? It reminds me of, and this is appropriate because we're heading towards the end of the school year, and you hand out all the awards. Remember when we're in 4th grade? And I would imagine this guy remembers because he seems to still be stuck there. But at the end of the year, Susie gets the certificate for the best grades, and Joey wins the certificate for best athlete, and Linda gets the certificate for best handwriting, and Joe gets perfect attendance, and then you come home with the citizenship award. And that trumps everything. How you handled yourself in the classroom, how you treated your classmates, how you treated your teacher. And your parents look and they say, we're doing something right here. We're molding a person. And everything else is secondary. We're building a great kid here. I imagine he has not won an award like that before.
Yeah.
And because he keeps score differently. He keeps score with dollar signs.
Sure.
And that's what's really sad to me.
Yeah, his reaction was to say about James Salinas when asked about the incident, like how did what you thought about the incident, because he was reacting to the
and this is
club.
after nobody, an executive or anybody with that company has said a word about this and handled this or addressed this professionally with an apology or a defense, whatever it might be. The only response that we've seen so far was this person on Twitter, I don't know, yesterday, the day before, whenever it came out, F this guy.
About James Salinas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a guy.
That's your response?
Not betting a game, betting the draft.
Can you imagine any leader of a company saying that?
Oh, I'm sure the shareholders were thrilled if you gave them truth.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's sad.
Well, and here's the reaction that ultimately what I want to get to here is because I don't think it doesn't deserve much beyond that comment. People can see for themselves what it is, right? And the nature of the reaction. But so Captain Jack, the day of the VSiN clip, came out and said, well, the printing of a ticket is in violation of Colorado gaming law, that it was not then actually, given as the ticket and graded as such. Once you print it, it's by Colorado law. It's live.
And that's the next part of the story.
So this is the part
Colorado
of the story.
is involved now.
Colorado is involved with this.
As reported by our friend David Purdom.
And this was not, and it was not James. James was not the impetus of it.
No. No,
Okay.
James is kind of done with it.
James couldn't. Yeah, he's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, in fact, James told me that David Purdom contacted him first to see if this was okay if he went out and pursued and wrote about it. And James said, yeah, whatever you want to do.
And you also have some indication that others are watching closely.
Yeah, there's some people, if you go through the timeline there on Twitter, some people have chimed in that, these very valuable gaming sportsbook licenses in states that are, getting close to legalizing this activity, said, we're aware of this type of thing.
Yeah.
We're watching.
Listen, and just, again, as people who have been immersed in sports betting and care about sports betting, the upshot of something like this, again, it's just another sort of thing that his reaction, Barstool's founder's reaction to this incident, just is another bit of chipping away of the confidence in sports bettors who have this who would like to think that they have this tacit agreement, if not a spoken one, that everything is above board.
Exactly.
And that's the crux of it, right? It's just like, dude, you can't
you go to a grocery store. We made this analogy before. If I go to the grocery store and I want to buy 5 ribeye steaks, and I go to the counter to check out, and she says, "You know what, sir? I'm sorry, you're only allowed to buy 3." Okay, no problem. Oh, and we're going to charge you triple. Then it's a problem. The limitation is not the problem. The changing, and like you said, you just want to go into a store, sports book, what have you, and get the treatment that you're expected to. What is posted.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. It's actually not unbelievable. It's completely believable, right? That's the sad part. It's completely believable.
Well, he is much younger than you and I and James, too.
Yeah.
So apparently that day was missed at his upbringing for, respect your elders as well.
All right. Well, there's that.